Welcome to episode 103 of the Bars Ankle High, your favorite ADHD podcast that explores life's low bars with wit and wisdom. My name is Katie.
And I'm Garrett.
And, last week we started off talking about the, as of that recording, unknown UHC assassin. This week we know who Luigi Mangione is.
I liked your emphasis.
Thank you.
In that pronunciation. That was lovely.
Yeah, what a hottie.
We've exchanged some text messages about this.
We have exchanged some text messages. Yeah, man, he could get it. Let me just say that. Apparently he's a good kisser. That's what I've seen on the interwebs of people that like went to high school with him or like, yeah.
What? Wait a minute. What else have you found out? I have not had the time to Google.
Oh, just things. Apparently, like, guy knows what to do with his mouth. Like, that's what I've heard.
We both agreed that it's, the college versions of us that are out there in another dimension would have been super into him.
I've also seen, it's like somebody posted a video that they had of him probably 2021 because they were wearing masks. But like in a grocery store and was like, this was the guy I would call to like go to the grocery store with me at 1 a.m. to get ice cream when I was drunk and da-da-da. And like, it was just like a very happy video. And I just love that he was such a nice person and is such a nice person. Also,
I feel like I haven't read bad stuff.
Are you ready?
No.
To get really mad?
Oh, mad?
Mm-hmm.
I'm always ready to get mad.
Did you hear about the woman in Florida who was arrested for making a domestic terrorist threat?
Oh, I did. She said to her insurance company, right? I only read the headline.
So
I didn't read like what her circumstances were.
She was on the phone with her insurance company and they were denying her claim for something, a health insurance company. And before hanging up the phone, she said, deny, defend, defund, or depose.
Yeah.
Deny, defund, depose. And hung up the phone, and she was arrested for making a terroristic threat and now faces 15 years in prison, single mother of 2. So there's several GoFundMes, I think. Yeah, at least one that I've seen, but plenty of people are sharing the GoFundMe to help her handle her legal fees. Yeah.
It's just really, terroristic threats. Like, at what point are you like an organized crime organization where you're making these determinations about people's lives that they have no other, like, people don't have a choice. Like, sometimes you get a choice of who your insurance carrier is, but the vast majority of the time you don't have a choice. It's whoever
most of the time you have
offers.
no choice.
Right.
Yeah. Like our employer happens to
one
offer.
Carrier.
Yeah. Ours offers a shitload of carriers.
Right.
But we also work for the largest employer in the state.
Right.
So it is what it is. But, yeah, for the most part, you don't have a choice. And
you also don't have a choice. What the fuck happens as far as your health goes? Like, you can wind up with some crazy diagnosis or a crazy thing that happens. Like, it's just so outside of your control that to turn it into this, like...
Well, and to get charged with domestic terrorism over that, like, you're saying that this person saying delay, deny, depose to the health insurance company that was denying her claim is the same as, like, the Boston Marathon bomber. It's the same as somebody shooting into a crowd on the 4th of July parade. Like,
like, we're not doing anything to address these young, violent men who are taking out innocent people.
Right.
This country has, like, a serious problem with random acts of violence like that aren't random to the person committing them, but to the people that are suffering the effects of it. Random acts of violence, because all they're doing is going to a movie theater or a concert or...
Well, those are young white men, and, like, you don't want to mess up their future.
Right.
This was a single white mother
Or a young man who has chronic pain.
Right.
I mean,
Which is apparently what they're saying radicalized Luigi, right?
Yeah.
Like he had a back injury. Apparently there's also, I saw this, I don't know, have you seen the Monopoly theory thing?
No.
So people found his Twitter. He has 246 tweets.
Yeah.
There's something else about 246.
Wait, was this like a Pokemon thing?
Yes, there was his banner on Twitter was this one Pokemon, Bloomy or whatever the fuck.
It's definitely Below Me the Pokemon. Yes.
Below Me the Pokemon. Sure. A picture, I think, of his own spine.
Yes.
With he had
pins,
had surgery with pins put into his very
like
low lumbar spine.
Yeah.
Into his last vertebrae, the S1 vertebrae.
Yeah.
And then a picture of him like shirtless at the top of a mountain, which like, whoa.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that picture, I think. I've seen it before.
Yes. I think
anyone
with a bean to flick is familiar with that picture at this point. So
my lord. The fucking wild things that she's gonna come out with, and I love that you're in the middle of making this like point too, but stop. So
that Pokemon is the number of that Pokemon, like each Pokemon has a number. I think Pikachu's number 1. For example, Charizard I think is 15. Point is, I'm very cool. And this Pokemon that was on his banner is also Pokemon number 246.
Yeah.
So people were like, okay, there was the backpack with Monopoly money. And they're like, well, maybe he's playing Monopoly because he was caught in Altoona, PA, where there's a stop on the Pennsylvania Railroad, which Pennsylvania Railroad is on the Monopoly board. And that's considered a like bonus card. Like it.
I would just like to, before you complete the story, I fucking hate Monopoly, and I would rather be waterboarded, I think, than have to play Monopoly. So
there's this other aspect of Monopoly that I didn't know because, listen, because no one ever gets to this point in playing Monopoly.
Yes, because
but apparently, if you roll doubles 3 times in a row, you go straight to jail. So 2, 6, and 8, or whatever, 2, 4, and 8, whatever the number
2, 4, 6,
of that thing is, 3 sets of doubles go to jail, kind of thing. So there's this theory that like he intended to get caught, which also, if you have chronic pain and you're dealing with like some sort of like chronic health issue that you can't get normal health care for, prison isn't a terrible option.
Oh, I can.
They're not going to like cure you. But if you've got, like, they will give you medication that you
like
need.
If you have high blood pressure, they're going to give you your blood pressure medication.
Correct.
Yeah, right.
So,
I don't know if I had a chronic pain issue. If prison is where I would be seeking
I don't know either. However, he seems to be doing okay in prison. Like, I don't know that he's going to be, like, a number 1 target, considering like his class consciousness hero thing.
Yeah.
And that one interview that you were talking about at lunch the other day where like
yes. they were it was like I can't remember who the anchor is, but it's like Ashley
Madison.
Yeah. It's definitely that. That's definitely what it is. I like my brain wants to say Natasha Bedingfield, but I know that that's a lady that sings that one song. So
it's all unwritten.
Yes, but
which would be good for a spoken interview. Maybe it is Natasha Bedingfield.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Ashley Madison Bedingfield.
She was in the anchor's desk, and then this guy was a field reporter. He was outside of the jail, so she's asking questions, and all of these inmates are yelling from in the jail
to answer her questions.
So this guy's standing outside, and he's like, you can see him like kind of turning, and they're all like screaming answers. So she was like, can you ask the men if Luigi has a TV in his cell? And they're all like, no,
How were they hearing the question that she was asking to the field reporter?
They had the TV on. It was a live thing.
Okay.
And she was like, this is the weirdest interview I've ever done. I'll have to find the clip. It was very funny, but they were also screaming free Luigi.
Yeah.
I still can't believe his name is Luigi.
I love it. Luigi Mangione. There's a creator who was pretending that she was the PR person for the Pope when the Pope used the F slur.
Oh yeah. That was wild.
She like had this like really thick like Italian accent, and she's like, "Here's the thing: we just say the Pope is a little gay, so it's okay."
It's a little gay. That's good.
And she has this like gorgeous red hair too. It's like just like it reminds me of your friend that visited you.
Yeah.
It's just like so voluminous.
Yeah.
But so she did one for Luigi, and she was like, "He is Italiano. You tell him he come over to Italy. He have a home with me." It's so good.
All you need is a mustache and overalls, and it is just like perfection.
Thank you. I do have a green turtleneck already, so I could make it work.
Oh, perfect. I know, like, we saw one, it was like a t-shirt or something somebody had made, and it was Luigi from Mario and Luigi fame.
Right.
Dressed as Luigi Mangione. I was like, that's a real niche that you found there. But yeah, that was a really crazy story. I was a little bummed to see him caught. I don't know that I'm buying some of the theories. I do feel like we're getting a little bit into the territory of like the QAnon people that are like, and if you add up all the dates from when JFK was assassinated, it's going to like that numerology shit.
It's very, like also, I'm sorry, but Taylor Swift fans like trying to figure out what the fuck she means by any of her social media posts.
Yeah, I barely have the time and availability to like read anything that's come out in any direction.
The best part though,
what?
The lady that turned him in isn't going to get the reward money.
My God. Oh, it was a woman.
Yeah, but it was Nancy something or other.
Yeah, these scummy McScummersons who were looking for this guy definitely are finding a loophole so that they don't have to pay out the reward money.
Speaking of poop hole loopholes.
It is a poop hole loophole. It is. You're right. It's like that's like the ultimate poop hole loophole. Like you're really trying to fuck somebody over with that.
I mean, truly.
And also, the company didn't even contribute to the reward money.
Of course
and
not.
had their meeting.
God forbid.
And posted his job 48 hours later or whatever.
Yeah, also the CEO of Peak Design, the creator and seller of the backpack that the Monopoly money was in, the CEO of that company called the police and said, "Hey, give me the serial number from that backpack and I can tell you who bought it.
Also, please protect me from these scary plebs. Don't let them get me."
You didn't tell me I wasn't bulletproof.
It's like instead of just like doing better, now all these primarily men are hiring like corporate security.
Yeah, I did see something that was like, we can protect the CEO of Costco and Patagonia.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And like making a list of like
a handful
the companies that like were willing to protect.
Oh, Arizona Iced Tea.
Arizona Iced Tea.
Yeah. Ben and Jerry's. Mm-hmm. There's like although they I think were bought by like Unilever or something, but there's like a handful of like, you know, ones that aren't complete scumbags.
Yeah.
So it's sad. I really hope that
also we're CEOs. Don't kill us.
Oh,
please.
That's true. Well, no, we don't have a board, so we're just business owners.
That's true. They can't stop us though.
They also
can call ourselves whatever we want.
Calling ourselves CEOs. Just kidding. We're not CEOs.
I saw Succession. It's basically all made up.
Did you finish Succession? Mm-hmm. Oh. It's my favorite, like, bleak, dark comedy. There's just so many points in that show where you're like, oh. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It is also very wild. And I mean, I'm certain not a far cry, probably not even a cry at all from, like, the reality of how people that wealthy actually live.
Oh,
like,
I think it's, I mean, to me, it's got to be based on Rupert Murdoch and his kids. And
well, I'm more thinking like the bachelor party thing and like that like den of
yes, that like underground club. And that's a good show. And that helicopter everywhere, taking a helicopter.
Wild. To play kickball or whatever the fuck in the middle of the day.
Just
wild. But yeah, other than that, so for news, it's been kind of a wild week. But,
it has. There's been some crazy stuff. And I know we did want to have a conversation, too, about Luigi and what might happen with the jury when he eventually goes to trial.
Yeah, I did. I saw some videos on jury nullification, which is a thing. I mean, that's pretty much what happened with the, what's his face? Perry something Perry. He was just acquitted of strangling a homeless man
in the subway. Mm-hmm. That guy, he's like a Marine or something.
Yes,
a former Marine.
And he was acquitted of the lesser charge of manslaughter. Yeah. The jury was deadlocked on a higher charge of I think second-degree murder. Yeah.
They had
they were deadlocked on that.
It was like criminally negligent homicide or something, I think, that they settled on, right? Yeah.
Well, that was the reduced charge, and he was acquitted of it.
Okay.
So the DA, the prosecutor thought, okay, well, if you're deadlocked on the higher charge, then the lesser charge you'll probably convict on. And they acquitted on it. Yeah, jury nullification, it's a thing in all states. Basically, it basically says, like, a jury can, like, if it's a jury trial, jury decides guilt or not. It doesn't matter if, like, the prosecution has satisfied all the elements of the claim. The jury can decide not guilty. It can be based on, I mean, they don't have to say, but, like, if the jury thinks the law that the person is being prosecuted under is unjust, mm-hmm. or that the act that the defendant engaged in was justified, and therefore they shouldn't be prosecuted or found guilty of the crime, they can find the person to be not guilty despite the evidence showing that they are guilty.
Right.
It's called jury nullification. It's totally legal in all 50 states.
I just don't know, in a country that elected Trump twice, that I have faith in a group of people making a just decision.
I do. I struggle with it because
and
working
that quote of, the experts can't come to a decision, so we're
so, like, fundamentally I agree in the legal system because obviously that's my career. But
imagine
I did have
well, the problem is everything's bad.
Right. I did have a professor in law school. He did products liability litigation when he was practicing, and he would say things like, when the experts disagree, the idiots decide. And he's like we would have, like, debates in class, like, between students. And he'd say, well, if you can't agree, don't worry. The 12 dumbest people in the room will decide for you. So,
and honestly, it has changed the way I think about juries.
Yeah. And that's the thing, and the reason that jury nullification is so rare is because jurors are given a charge sheet. When the jury is charged, it's right before they go into deliberation. All of the charges are read out, and the jury instructions are read into the record. These instructions are decided before the trial starts, for the most part. Maybe there'll be some tweaks during the trial. But these are decided, how this is read, how this is formatted, is decided between the plaintiff or the the prosecution and the defense. In a criminal case, it's plaintiff and defendant in a civil case. But the instructions are written in a way where it is kind of that human nature where you just want to answer the question. So if you're going through and answering these questions, then you come to a conclusion at the end that's like, okay, well, if A plus B plus C equals D, then D is the answer, and you just kind of fill it in as that means guilty. Jury nullification means that you're going through answering all of these questions in accordance with the proof and then saying not guilty at the very end. So it is a possibility, but it is hard to do because you kind of get herded into a corner to come up with an answer. So if it's a not guilty, then it's well, we can't answer yes to question number 3, and therefore the rest of the questions are irrelevant, not guilty, whatever. So jury nullification is extremely rare, but it does happen. And I think it's a lot of that. It probably happens more often than we know, just because I think there's also a lot of people who just want to go home. You've been deliberating for 3 days. You just want to get the fuck out of there.
Or 3 weeks or whatever.
Right.
I mean,
and you just want to get the fuck home.
Yeah.
So, look, I'm glad I'm not a trial attorney. I can say that. But Luigi's attorney is fun to watch, I will say. His press conference was fun.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
At one point, he was like, look, they charged my client with a crime. It's up to them to prove it. I haven't seen any proof. Have you seen any proof? He's like, look, this is all the proof that I have. And he holds up his hands and he's like, you can zoom in if you want. I don't see any proof. It was so funny.
Also something you would do.
Yeah.
Did you see the show, the jury?
Jury
the
duty?
Show on Prime. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that was so great.
It was very funny.
I love it.
It was very cute.
Show.
I liked the end too.
The end was just chef's kiss. It was just so
I also liked how they were showing the stuff, the behind the scenes of trying to figure out how to rehearse
and how to navigate all of these different parts of it. Yeah, that was if you haven't watched that show, folks, definitely check it out because it
took a while to coax PK into watching it because he works with jurors every day. So he was like, I don't really want to come home from work and watch more work. So
that's a fair response.
Yeah, I was like, I get it, but also, can I watch it, please? Then.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna watch it without you then. Yeah, I'm really curious to see what's gonna happen with this case.
Yeah, free Luigi.
Free Luigi.
Absolutely.
At minimum, let him out on bail.
Yeah, give him to me. Don't give him to me. I'm not.
I will keep an eye on him.
If I was single, oh yeah.
I mean. College me would have been like, you also want to eat the rich? Oh my God.
I wouldn't have even gotten that far. I would have been like, look at that man.
Well, that would have been the first part, but then
he's got a bad back, which means I can just be on top the whole time.
The thought of somebody going, oh, he's got a bad back is wild.
Say it slower.
Do you have radiating pain?
Is numbness and tingling shooting down your lower extremities?
So when you say low back pain, does it also include sciatica? I can't imagine though. I just know after getting the C-section, I had they had to do my epidural twice, and part of it was because I had a lot of compaction in my discs from being pregnant. So, I don't know how to. If somebody's had an epidural, I guess they can verify. But because they put this catheter in your spine, in your spinal cord, you can feel. I don't know how to describe it other than I could feel it in my teeth. I could feel this corded thing going in, and I could feel it in my teeth, and it's just having to do that twice, and you're sitting still and you're having contractions, and it was just like, it was really horrific. And then when, you know, I get through it and she was like, I'm going to have to do it again. I was like, excuse me? You what?
I did see a TikTok from a nurse anesthetist or an anesthesiologist, I'm not sure, explaining how they do it and like how to find like the sweet spot for it. And like, it was the kind of thing where I was like, oh, so the only way you learn this is by actually doing it on a live person. Like, how could you possibly learn this otherwise?
And then when, you know, and
it like depends on like how your nerves come out of your spine for like how, like you might just happen to have more nerves on one side than the other. Or like, and if the catheter is like just kind of bent to one side, then like you don't have an even distribution of the medication. Yeah. Like, it's just like hearing it get explained, I was like, oh dear God.
Yeah. There's certain things that like you don't read about until after.
Yeah.
And it was definitely like, she had to do it twice and then had to like, the second time had to call the attending in like for help. So I was sitting there fully like ready to shit my pants because I'm like, are you about to fuck up my back for like eternity? And I had residual pain. Like, I could tell you exactly where that catheter went in for like 6 months after my epidural. Like, I would bend over and I could feel where the epidural was.
That's gross.
And then you're also like, am I going to feel this forever? Like, am I going to have this residual like pain in my spine forever because of this epidural? So I can't imagine, like, especially back pain.
Having hardware in your spine, like,
and having like chronic back pain like that. Like, I mean, lugging around a little chimp that weighs 25, 30 pounds is not great for the back.
I thought you were describing Luigi as like some sort of
little
ape,
chimp.
And I was like,
he's just a little chimpy guy. No,
lugging around your like chimpy features. Like, what?
No, my toddler.
We watched a different Planet of the Apes in my house. I don't know.
No, it's just my little muscly screaming toddler. Will fuck up your back for sure. But I can't imagine like dealing with that type of like low back pain for ever.
Oh, for sure. Especially that young. I mean, that's the thing. Like, even at work, when we see folks that have back injuries, I'm like, no, thank you. I would rather, like, I will fall down the stairs and break my arm before I have like sign up for any sort of like chronic, especially something that's like slip discs or nerve impingement,
degenerative discs, or it's that always like really frightens me that I will like slip a disc or something in my back, and then like and reading about his, I'm like, oh, and then you'll read comments and all these other people are like talking about their chronic back pain issues, and I'm like, I'm just gonna pretend I never read this and leave this thread. Thank you. I don't want to know because I can't handle it.
Yeah. I mean, and only recently did they start having like treatment guidelines for how much pain medication they can prescribe any one person. Yeah. Which is getting a little bit better with like digital prescription tracking. But
almost 20 years during the opioid crisis, it was just
fully
like,
unchecked.
I mean, insane.
Well,
and I mean, after my C-section, I think like 24 hours later, they were just giving me Tylenol and Motrin. And I had to be like, can I have a little bit more? This is fucked up.
Yeah, they gave my mom some because she had to have some plates and screws put in her wrist when she fell over playing pickleball.
One of the times.
Yep. We were doing a tour of our venue. The woman giving us the tour said something about like, oh, there's an elevator so people don't have to like come up these stairs. And I was like, that's important information. And like looked at my mom and she's like, la, 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 la. And I was like, are you listening?
She's Mom? Like, well, I'll take the stairs anyway.
I was like, we're on a record right now. Like, we need to keep
Yeah, we
stop
haven't
breaking
had any injuries.
I was like, look, you have a year from, as we're recording, a year from today, she can snap whatever limbs off she wants. But until then.
But please don't. By the way, please don't do that.
But yeah, so she had to have surgery to have her arm fixed. And they gave her some sort of, I guess, Oxycontin or something. And the pharmacist, like, I had to, like, pick up her meds for her, and gave me, like, this little pouch that you, like, put the unused medication in, and it dissolves it. So that, like, you do this, and then, like, you fold up this, like, metallic pouch and then put that in the trash so that you're not, like, flushing anything, but also then you don't have to worry about, like, losing the medication. But
you mean they don't want people to do like I do, where I save it in case something happens, and then I have. Meanwhile, the oxys they gave me from my C-section were 5 milligrams.
That's what these were that my mom had.
Yeah, I mean they were literally
that,
like.
When I had my wisdom teeth out, I had that, and I took one dose of it and, like, saw stars, and I was like, no, thank you. It'll just be the Tylenol for me, please.
Yeah, the 5 milligrams. Granted, like, I was also extremely sleep deprived. But I do remember, like, our first night home from the hospital, I took the 5. I was just taking them at night just so I could sleep.
Yeah.
And I had taken the 5 milligrams, and the baby cried, and I just like went to jump up and was like, oh my, like, the pain was so bad because you just, like, forget, and you just hear this thing, and your body has this, like, immediate. I mean, maybe that was me, like, just being a brand new mom. Like, as soon as I heard her cry, I was literally, like, jumping, because it's that adjustment of, like, oh my God, I'm fully responsible for this. Oh fuck!
They let it come home with me. It's so weird.
Oh my God, this is my job.
I don't even have a license yet.
I have to make her stop crying. And I just remember, like, being in that sleep deprivation sleep where you haven't slept so much, and you're just so tired, so deeply tired, and recovering from surgery, and having these 5 milligrams of Oxy, and just like so out of it, so confused, but also in so much pain from trying to sit up with my tiny broken body. So yeah, they are crazy drugs, and I can totally see why they're and I'm glad that they're so much more careful prescribing them.
Yeah.
I also felt like the world's biggest drug-seeking person by being like, can I have a little bit more of that?
PK and I were talking about this, like, when it comes to any medication that we want, like, / need, like our ADHD meds, our antidepressants, like me being like, could I try, like, a weight loss medication? Like, I don't want to feel like I'm drug seeking here, but it's like
I just
weight
need a
loss
little
medication.
something.
Yeah.
Truly.
Like, we're just like, and I was like, where did that come from? Where we're like, oh, that's the drug seeking behavior that they've warned us about in health class. It's like,
I told Katie
can I just
that
have a birth control refill?
I went to my doctor one time, and I literally had, like, a dissertation prepared as to why I thought something like this made sense for me. We got 30 seconds into the conversation, and she was like, yeah, I agree. And I continued to go through the dissertation, and she was like,
And you're like, and that's why it doesn't say RSVP on the Statue of Liberty.
And she's like, okay, I agreed. I've already written the script and sent it to the pharmacy, so it's okay.
Please stop talking to me, you weird chicken lady.
Settle down.
Following me around.
You know who won't think I'm a weird chicken lady is our shared gynecologist, because she also has chickens.
Oh, yeah?
And we were talking about our chickens. Yep.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I can see that for her.
Yes. She told me that, and I was like, yeah. Same thing.
I love her.
I was like, oh, yeah, I can see that.
Always a delight when I get to have my cooter looked at by her.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Just poke around, see what's up. Yeah, Bernie gets it. Oh my goodness. Is there a baby? Oh. Ooh, Starbucks.
There is a baby, but I didn't even acknowledge her because I was just handed hot Starbucks.
Starbucks.
Oh my God, this is so nice.
I got Starbucks yesterday when we went to our venue again.
So nice.
But yeah, that's really all I have for this episode. I mean, it was kind of a weird news week, just a continuation of last week.
It was kind of a weird period. Weird week. Yep.
Fair
weird
enough.
Day. Yep. Weird recording. Sure was.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! We did it. You're welcome. End of recording. Job done.
Jesus
And I
Christ.
only knocked my equipment on myself like 3 times. So Great
you're
day.
being really generous with that incident count. But in any event,
6, 246.
246.
Monopoly
Straight to jail.
money. Railroad jail. I don't know.
Getting railed.
Running a train on the train jail. With the Monopoly money and the beans flipped.
Flicking the beans to Monopoly money. You know, in Ace
Is that gonna
Ventura,
be
when
the
nature
episode name?
calls. I don't know. Maybe.
You don't know? Maybe.
You know, in Ace Ventura, when nature calls, when he's like, "And you must be the Monopoly guy."
The only thing I remember is him emerging from that rhinoceros.
Oh, that's a good one. He also puts all the food on his fingers and is like walking around like a creature in the like cocktail hour. It's pretty funny.
So
I stand by
gonna
it.
be what you do at your cocktail hour, right?
Potentially.
Lobster
We're not having the
tails,
full.
just-
We're not doing the full seafood buffet, but if we
I'm
did,
a swamp man.
we are
That's what
having
I
crack
say.
and eat crab claws. So
I can't wait to get covered in little flecks of butter and shell.
I am so fucking pumped.
It is gonna be good.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in the next episode because we did get a lot of updates when we went to see
Cool.
the venue yesterday. So
Cool.
yeah, so until next week, support your local Monopoly guy and, return, review, and resist CEOs like the one in Peak Design.
Or United Healthcare.
Yeah. Also, reminder, you can support us as your favorite Totally Not CEOs and give the gift of a Patreon membership this holiday season by going to patreon.com/thebarisAnkleHigh/gift and make sure you do it from a desktop so that you're not paying an additional fee, particularly if you have an iPhone, because Apple is adding on like a surcharge for using the App Store. I don't fucking know. Just do it from a desktop. You can also just join Patreon yourself if you don't want to give the gift to anybody else and go to patreon.com/thebarisAnkleHigh.
Contribute to our golden parachute, please. This CEO wants a golden parachute.
We're doing our best.
But a golden parachute would make it much easier.
It truly would. Think of all the chickens. And so
So many chickens.
you can also get some merch at bit.ly/anklehighmerch. I will remind you that the incoming president has promised to put tariffs on any
Everything.
country, including Mexico and Canada. So a lot of things are going to end up costing a lot more. If that ever happens, I'm really unclear on like the procedure for imposing a tariff. I don't know if that's like an executive order thing. I probably should know.
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure somehow it'll be our responsibility to fully figure everything out and file everything and know what the consequences are ahead of time, even though nobody knows what they are.
Probably.
I don't have any feelings about this at all. I'm sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
I think you're doing great.
Thank you. I agree.
There's also, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook and Threads at The Bar is Ankle High. We're on TikTok at Ankle High Pod. Make sure that you are rating and reviewing us anywhere you find us, especially Apple Podcasts and Spotify. On Apple, if you can actually write out a review, that is super great and would be much appreciated. And share us with your friends because, well, we think we're funny. And you're listening, so you probably do too. So
I love how accusatory that was. You think we're funny too.
Yeah. Well, you're here. I don't know why you can't be listening for rage reasons, right? That'd be silly. Tune in next week because I do have a story about rage listens. Cool. But yeah, so until next week, yeah, support your local Monopoly guy. Continue to stick it to the man. And
flick your bean.
Because the bar is ankle high.